Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Extreme Z area for the GT edition that's been updated with the Eza'S for the Strength Android 18 and the AGL Hell Fighter 17. Pretty simple stuff really when I look at it. Honestly, the Eza'S are interesting. They definitely are different, and there's some really interesting parts of them. I just don't know how they'll do it with free-to-play stats. They're interesting builds that have a lot of utility, but it's just going to be interesting to see how they perform with free-to-play stat kind of purchases, which will, stat rankings, which is important to understand. But I think overall they are two interesting Eza'S. Always a shame when they Dokkan Awaken a unit and Eza'a them, but a lot of the times the reason they do it is because of those stats, the extra Eza'a stats along with the extra passive boosts, and that really do elevate the unit. Although you could just make the passive crazier, but I guess that would then make the passive look pretty nuts, which is always interesting. The two units in question are obtainable from the Super 17 Saga story mission, which is currently up. And I have already spoken about how to Dokkan Awaken them, so you can check that out if you want. Now, in terms of team build, you do have to primarily focus on using free-to-play units, as a lot of the limited character roster are those units. In terms of overall, you can use summonable units. There are summonable units you can use. It's just you may or may not have them. So I'll be using a full free-to-play team. If you have summonable units or better units that you want to use, please feel free to use them. There's no reason at all as to why you should, you don't need to or have to use, only free-to-play characters. If you want to build a full GT Bosses team using a whole bunch of summonable GT Bosses units, please be my guest. It's entirely up to you. But my team build will be free to play, obviously to accommodate all the people that can potentially farm these characters now or need to farm these characters now. You will need to have both Android 17 and 18 Dokkan Awakened to do their respective stages, so we're going to put them in both teams so we can use one team for both difficulties. Now, I highly suggest doing Android 18s first. The reason being is, although we don't have type advantage, Android 17 actually does quite a bit of damage to Android 18 in the second stage, in his stage. So the reason I suggest this is if you Dokkan Awaken her first, then she becomes a lot less vulnerable. If you Extreme Z Awaken her first, she becomes a lot less vulnerable to Hell Fighter 17 stage, and she'll just help you out a lot more there. But beyond that, it's still fine. You can do them both without needing to change the team. I'll show you guys later on where I'll have all the medals and basically everything that I need to obviously, Extreme Z Awaken them without actually having done it. Now, in terms of the Extreme Z Awakenings, they are very interesting. So obviously, Hell Fighter 17 is definitely more geared to being a second or third slot attacker in the turn. He gets plus 17% evasion for 3 turns from his entry turn. He builds up attack and defense with each attack evaded. And yeah, it's just very interesting. Basically, in terms of his build and design, very much a second, third slot unit. Android 18, in contrast, is a bit tankier. So she has, damage reduction of 18%, gives all allies 30% defense as the first attacker. She then gets, basically an additional 18% damage reduction. It's not enough damage reduction, unfortunately for her, to really be a first slot tank, in the meta. But it's enough to make her a very interesting option for medium to lower high-end contents. Definitely very interesting. Of course, basically you get your gold and silver medals from the second difficulty, the Z Hard. You'll have to do the super difficulty if you want the bronze and silver. So if you're wondering why I don't have bronze and silver, it's because you need to do the lower difficulty. In terms of the amount of times, you're going to need to do each difficulty of each stage around 5 times. You will get question marks, which will boost your medal count. If you don't get question marks, you will have to do it 5 times. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much everything you need to know. See you next time. Bye.